Hello everybody, this is Lumin. This is Sustainable Upcycling class number 1. Principle of Upcycling Design is a topic which we covered about why do we have to do upcycling design. The traditional fashion industry is a linear pattern of fashion industry. Most of the times, most of the practices or activities are focused on the supply chain, which is the front end of the development, or we say prior developments, the material preparations. Some of the industrial pioneers are trying to directly purchase them from the producers by meaning of the herds or the mills converters from the front end, but not the final traders. But those are only just a small area of these whole material preparations. What about the design and development of the other materials, such as notions, buttons, zippers, fusibles, canvas, all these things? Although even for accessories, we are still offering solutions, tremendous solutions on recycled materials or less polluted materials or biodegradable materials. But still, this whole industry is not just a single fiber of yarn as wool, cotton, bamboo, or hams, or just saying we can only possibly limited this kind of dyeing process as a natural dye or chemical dye or less polluted dyeing, whatever, because the whole industry is much complicated than what we imagined. And once those materials are being used as a part of the design processes, not just mentioned to the woven fabric, but also we are looking through these knitwear fabrics or yarns and knit developments. All these complexes of fashion design development gives different angles of cost and consumptions. And eventually when we developed this whole product, throughout all these processes became a garment or become some kind of wearable accessories, we're still facing the challenge of, if this object possibly being 100% sold out, what if those objects are not sold? What if their inventories are exceeding 50% of our productions? And what if all these order-based products as wholesale products are still cannot be digested throughout the whole circle? What could we do, or what should we do? This is a subject which only few people are even much less than what we expect them to taking into their considerations. People are saying that I'm an upcyclist, I'm doing something, but our efforts are so little in compared to the whole industry. Only some people doing denim materials, some people doing might be possibly certain kind of category of fashion objects, but none of us being possibly to produce or proceed massive or saying from small to medium range of fashion objects. So these are the things really have to take into consideration and putting into our agendas. Just using these recycled materials, or what if we're using only all natural materials, then we'll make the planet feel better, make us having much better living conditions. We become part of even saying well-being or self-sustained lifestyles, whatever. But this cannot stop the increasing of cheaper range or medium price range of products which combined with synthetic fibers are being produced year by year, and these kind of process are much quicker than what we can imagine 20 years ago or 10 years ago or 5 years ago. And each of the years, by the concept of consumerism, it's not decreasing but even increasing. Even we cannot digest all these materials, we'll still keep producing. From the 90s, we are producing fashion collections twice a year, and now that we're based on 12-month cycles, and then even worse, if we consider the online business, we're creating the fashion business based on 52 weeks of new collection launching process. So how do we deal with this? First of all, obviously, we're going to reduce the consumption of the synthetic materials or the fossil fuel leftovers. And secondly, we have to speed up the process of development of the new materials. But as we know, the new material development most likely will take 15 to 7 years of development to be proved that can be possibly used in this industry and being massed, so that they have profitabilities, that people are willing to take this kind of fiber or materials into considerations. And also we have to control the price and not being too high, so that consumer can accept those kind of objects. And then obviously on the other side, we have to deal with what existing or what eventually being created by us as designers or as industry platforms or companies, whatever. And we are facing the more and more leftover which we cannot digest. And to the consumer end, consumers are buying lots of garments without even wearing them, or just putting them in their wardrobe, and those things are eventually will be available in this market to increase the lump sum number of the whole waste. So how do we deal with those things? By recycling them, by donating them to geographic locations which people still need some helps, or we do recycles, or we transform them into new energies. All these methods are possible, but how many percentage of them can be digested, which we all know this is impossible to us to digest the whole thing yearly, exceeding 50% or something. Then the circle must need the upcycling to join in to solve the problem in a much significant way, to help out in this stage. So here comes to the principle of upcycling. So now I'm going to show you the PPT, and we're going to go through each of the process of the different type of upcycling businesses, which I had originally established by all different kind of designers. Case by case, we do analysis.